Good afternoon, and how are you? Happy Scorpio full moon. No need to fear. Scorpio full moons have this rap of the us being afraid of the energy. The energy always is around money, sex, power, and death. Indeed, things that we all have some kind of anxiety about. I want to talk to you about this, but light actually during this Scorpio full moon. I think this could be a really great moon for us. The reason is during the Scorpio full moon, I really want us to start to think about all the ways in which our power has been stolen, our power has been lost, or we've been complicit in giving away our power. So, oftentimes, when we work with soul retrieval, we take a look at all the ways someone's power or soul may have been stolen. Soul theft. How does soul theft occur? Soul theft can often occur when someone is envious or jealous of your power, your personal power that you hold. When someone is envious or jealous of that power, they start to tap in to your power as their own power source. So we often see this as folks doing exactly the things you're doing, offering the same offerings that you're offering, showing up as you in multiple places. You can tend to feel that drawing from your own power source. And this comes up for a number of reasons. But let's talk about that. Let's talk about that power theft or soul theft. And I also want to talk about soul loss that could occur from traumatic experiences that we may have had in our life. So we could be experiencing soul theft, we could be experiencing soul loss, or we can even be experiencing a giving away of bits of ourself in exchange for love and power. So oftentimes we enter into relationships and we're complicit in giving away aspects of our own light in exchange for being loved. And before we know it, our light is gone because we've been giving this away ever so slowly. We can also experience a soul theft or a soul loss from a broken relationship or a broken friendship. Oftentimes, we notice this loss or this theft when we are not able to form other meaningful relationships. So we may have lost this friendship and we're not able to find other friendships. We may have lost this love and we're not able to find other meaningful relationships. And so that's a really great example of how you could feel like you have lost aspects of your essence, your light, your vitality. And all of those things are considered aspects of your soul. So when I'm talking about this, I'm talking about the true essence of yourself. And so soul stealing sometimes is a karmic or generational thing. This may have passed through the lineage. We have mothers who have stolen their children's souls. Sometimes they are consciously aware of it, and sometimes they're not so consciously aware of it. So we have mothers who have been raised with really strict discipline or really strict values around sexuality. And then they have this child who is really confident in their sexuality and hold a lot of sexual freedom and light. And what happens is that mother then notices that and begins to repress that in their child or steal that in a very unconscious way from their child. They begin to harness that light or that joy or that freedom that these babies bring or these children bring because they don't have it. And in extension, they're saying, you make me so happy. When I'm around you, I feel so alive. And they begin to live through their children's light, or they begin to live through their children's happiness, right? And it's nothing wrong with a mother and the child making their mother happy. That's not what I'm talking about. I'm talking about this extension of plugging into your child's light to really pull light into yourself can really drain your child of its light. And in effect, that's a soul theft. You are taking their essence and you're taking their vitality. So we may notice this following through the generations, right? Particularly with mothers and their children. We may notice this coming through the generation, and we will call that a generational curse, or a karmic generational kind of curse that keeps flowing from mother and child and mother and child and grandmother and through the lineages, right? A soul retrieval can heal that. A soul retrieval, or calling back aspects to yourself, not only heals you in this time, but it also heals previous generations that may have also had to deal with this flowing through the lineage. And in this Scorpio full moon, that's when that old pain, or that's when that pain really and resentment really can surface. So we can see a lot come to light during the Scorpio full moon, where we feel the resentment of being held back sexually. We feel the resentment of someone else stealing our essence and our vitality. We see the imbalance in power. We feel where we have given away our power. We see how other people have stolen our power. We see how people have stolen this beautiful essence that is yours and is wearing it like a cloak, right? And you want to reclaim that. And a great way to want to reclaim that is first us noticing it. And the second thing that I want to talk about is that you realize that people who lack personal power, or powerless people, will often attach themselves to you. And we have to be very careful about who attaches themselves to us. And so this full moon could really bring to light those areas where we notice who's around us and how are they using us. Are they using us for their light, or are they able to stand in their own light and hold that for themselves? So it's a positive thing. It's a positive thing to get to see this clearly. And it's okay for someone to reflect back our power to us by standing in their own power. But it's not okay when they begin to use us as their power source. And that is what I'm talking about, right? So this personal essence and this personal vitality, it is yours to hold, and it's yours to protect, and it's yours to carry through this life. And it's yours to turn to in times like these when you are needing something to tap into. Now, what I don't want to create in you is a paranoia that other people are out to get me, and that you're waiting to be punished, and something in the past is something from your past is gonna come back to get you, and there are people out there who just want to steal your power. That is not what I'm talking about. So notice that too, because whenever there's Pluto involved, right? Pluto rules Scorpio. There's an essence also that we can fall into of paranoia. So that's not what I'm talking about. So I don't want you to feel that sense of paranoia as you're moving through this energy of the full moon. What I'm talking to you about is really stepping into a place where you can harness your power and you can notice, right? So if your personal will is not strong, or if you're also noticing that your positivity, your hopefulness, your optimism is being drained from you, I would say it is time to pull back your power from people, places, and things that may have been stealing your power. So you can feel that happening to you, right? So you may want to call back through what I call a soul retrieval, which is literally going back to the relationships and asking back for your power. And this is not done physically, right? This is done in a in a way, through a conscious meditation. So it may be visiting the space where you have lost your power, going back to your childhood home, going back to the conversation that you may have had that depleted your power, going back to the school, the teacher, the classroom, in subconscious meditation, and asking back for that power to come in to a body that can now hold that power. So, like I've said on this platform before, you are calling back aspects of yourself. Those aspects of yourself has to have a safe home to return to, or they will never come back. So while we're calling back aspects of ourself, we cannot call back aspects of our lost powerful self if we cannot hold that power safely now. So we are also doing the work that when we're calling back aspects of ourself, that our self begins to feel safe in return to you're calling back light to a light-filled self, right? I hope I make that clear. I can talk about that more at another time. But for now, during this full moon, through meditation, we can certainly find ways to call back aspects of ourselves that we have lost or may have been stolen. And there's sometimes that we don't know exactly where it's been stolen. We may not know exactly where and who's envious and who's jealous and in all the ways. But one of the things I do is to call back all aspects of myself from everywhere, right? So I don't necessarily need to name the person or name the site or that. It can show up to me later. But oftentimes when I'm doing these meditations of calling myself back, I'm calling myself back from a place where other issues, it feels very segmented. So when you start to feel segmented, like pieces of you are all over and you're unable to stand in your power, you begin to call those aspects of yourself back, those segmented aspects of your soul back. I want to end this by saying, this is not something that we will be able to do all on this full moon. This is something that we should do regularly. We should do a regular calling back of the aspects of our soul that may be stolen, lost, or complicitly given to someone else. So every Scorpio, you have many Scorpio full moons to come. This could be a really great practice for you during a Scorpio full moon, is really going through the cycle of what it looks like for death and rebirth. So maybe giving back some people their aspects of their self and their vitality too. I didn't talk about that one, but maybe we can give back to folks aspects of their self and their vitality that we may have taken. So this is a release and a reclaiming, making space to reclaim your own by releasing what you may have lost with others. I hope that makes sense to you. I feel like I've definitely talked enough, but really notice the ways that this pattern plays through in generations, in family. And I find that sometimes, like visiting my family home or visiting my bedroom at my parents' home or having specific conversations with my sisters or my siblings in general, or even with my mom and dad, I find that in those conversations, so much opportunity comes up that we can literally call back our power. And as these opportunities come up for calling back your power, all you have to say is, I choose different. I choose different. I choose not to give you that. I choose to hold that for myself. I choose to show up differently in the conversation that we've just had. I choose to show up in a way that my power stays with me. It doesn't get given. So I choose a different choice. It is as simple as that sometimes, to regain your power and to call that power back to you. Until we talk again, I am sending you so much love and enjoy this Scorpio full moon. There's no need for fear. Please step out of the way of fear and get about reclaiming your power. Until we talk again. Bye-bye.